live in a created world. The signs of terraforming exist everywhere. This video is going to continue showing you the line from Catalina across the country, and this is where it ends, or the eastern end of the Catalina line through the Grand Canyon. Now there's something in the water next to this giant footprint, and I did a video on that. If you're interested, you can find it on my YouTube. I originally theorized a line that existed from Santa Catalina Island to the Grand Canyon, because Santa Catalina was once called Stonehenge Island. Now it connects with not only the Grand Canyon, but a place called Fort Aztlan, which might be the northernmost site for the Aztec creation myth, who came from the north at a place called Azatlan. But it crosses over the step pyramid exactly, noting that this line must be artificial. Of course, this Lake Michigan, where pyramid structures have been found in the water. It continues very close to Mount Washington, and it crosses a very familiar site, another terraformed island called Oak Island. For all you treasure hunters, I consider these golden lines because I think that's how the Anunnaki actually transferred their gold across the world. Now this line moves across the Atlantic and into Africa at a northern place where there's a circular island that's connected to troglodytes. And I wanted to show you how close this is to the Great Eye of the Sahara. That's the line from Machu Picchu and Easter Island. Now a lot of the history of Africa is unfortunately destroyed. But if you would like to look up the history of the Nok people or the Bantu, this line continues through Mozambique into another giant footprint. So it connects one giant footprint to another giant footprint. That's the island continent of Madagascar. And then we cross through the Pacific, South Pacific, into Australia. And you can see that the land was actually once out of water. The sea levels were actually much lower at a point in history, and that's easily shown on this coastline especially. Now the Samoan people are connected to the Australian people genetically, but the Samoan people are much larger in size than the Australian Aborigines, so they might have come first. And this line crosses back and connects at Catalina. Now, I wanted to take you on the winter solstice line from Catalina and show you that some of these are simply navigational tools from one point to another. I don't think Catalina is an actual node as important as the Grand Canyon itself. I think it marks a spot that connected to the Grand Canyon. But this line is interesting because it connects at Santiago, Chile. And Santiago, Chile seems to be a nexus or a node, very famous for having several different kinds of construction leading all the way back to the Tiwanaku people. Mayan, Incan, etc. All those constructions are visibly available in Santiago, Chile, including the more modern Spanish style, the conquerors of the Americas. This is interesting because the line passes close to the Solomon Islands, the Sandwich Isles, and you notice that it's kind of circular there. Very interesting. That's Thule Island. And really, this line doesn't really cross any more land masses until you get into Malaysia through the Bay of Bengal and Myanmar. It's very interesting because some of the earliest dolmens are built here, and effigy mounds, although there's a lot of jungle, you can't really see them, but they are certainly artifacts. And where it crosses into China is interesting too, because here are some of the earliest fossils ever found in China. And a lot of China is occupied, but there is a lot of uninhabited area in the northern part of China, closer to Mongolia, where this line leads. And you can see that it crosses over peaks, most often used in old forms of aviation called dead reckoning, or visible reference points, like mountains. And here we cross over into the Gulf of Alaska. I'll flip it over, and we're coming back down into the northwest part of this winter solstice line, crossing very near San Francisco. And it seems to just follow the coastline and connects back with Catalina. Now here's a visible sign of terraforming. This Spain is used as a Great Stonehenge, and it connects north-south exactly with the Stonehenge in England. But it also connects to Moscow, and I'll take you on a tour of its lines at a future point. But isn't that interesting how it matches exactly some of the most important cities? And here's Stonehenge blueprint on top of Stonehenge. And this is how I think the Anunnaki saw the world. Thank you for your viewing.